Jitters Coffee House, which you may know. It's down the bottom of Washington Street. We meet there on a Sunday at 1 o'clock every week. 1 week we'll read to one another what we've written and critique each other. And the weeks in between we work on whatever we're working on, and we're there to help each other if we need it. So if you have any interest in writing, do please come along and join us. We have people who are writing fiction and non-fiction, novels, short stories, memoirs, the whole gamut. So we'll be pleased to see you there. Now for our comedy night, we have an MC, Bill Martino, who is actually the director of the Holmes County District Public Library. And we really enjoy Bill, and I'd like to introduce him, but before I do, I'd like to tell you a little about him. So, Bill, of course, being a librarian, he just loves books. And he told me that he loves nothing better than to curl up in bed with a good book, or with a friend who's read a good book. He has actually written a book himself. He wrote it under a pen name, Vic. The other day, Bill was in his office at the library and he looked out and he realized that the flag flying outside the library was getting a little old and tattered. It's been there for quite some time. So he wanted to put up a new flag, and he wanted a larger flag than they had before, but he wanted it to be sort of in proportion to the flagpole. So he called in a couple of employees and he said, I want you to go out and measure the height of the flagpole. This way he would know what sort of size flag to get. So these two guys went out and they got a ladder and a tape measure, and they leaned the ladder against the flagpole, and it was way too short, so they went back, they got another ladder, then they got an extension ladder. Then one of the guys went up the ladder and dropped the tape measure, and it came down. The other guy went up and he nearly fell off the ladder. Well, Bill was watching all of this through the window of his office, and he finally went out there himself. And he said, look, it's simple. And at the bottom of the flagpole, there are these two pins. One is a pivot pin, the other is locking. So he just pulled out the bottom pin, and the whole flagpole just came down like that. And Bill said, now take the end of the tape. He gave the end to one guy, and he ran out to the other end and he said, there, 30 feet. 30 feet, it's as simple as that. And he went off back into his office. The two guys looked at each other and they said, isn't that a typical library director? He asks us to measure the height of the flagpole, and then he comes out and measures the length of it. I must tell you though, Bill was telling me, confessing to me perhaps, that the other day he was down in Jitters, the coffee house down in Washington, and he was there and he was having a coffee and he was listening to the music, and he got a very bad pain in his stomach cramps, and he didn't know what to do about it, and he realized that what he needed to do actually was to fart. So he looked around there. I mean, the coffee house was crowded. He realized that he just couldn't fart there. And then he realized that the music was really loud. In fact, it was very loud. And he thought, I could fart in time with the music. Nobody would know. So that's what he did, and he farted through about 3 songs. And he felt a whole lot better. And then he looked around, and he realized that everybody had stopped what they were doing, and they were looking at him. And then he realized he was listening to the music on his iPod. Bill, the one thing that he always wanted was a good pair of cowboy boots. He always wanted a pair of cowboy boots, and he happened to find a pair on sale. So he bought them and he put them on in the store and came home in them. And he went home, and his wife, Jana, was in the kitchen, and he went into the kitchen and he said, do you notice anything different? And she looked him up and down. She said, no, I don't. So Bill was a little annoyed, so he went off up to the bedroom and took off all his clothes, and he came back down wearing just the cowboy boots. And he stood there in the kitchen, and he said, well, do you notice anything different? She said, no, it looks just the same. You're always hanging down just like that. Yesterday it was just hanging down. Tomorrow it's going to be hanging down. What's different? He said, do you know why it's hanging down? She said, no. He said, it's looking at my new boots. But Jana said, too bad you didn't buy a hat. Bill Martino, I may make fun of him, but I love him. He's a great guy. We all love him, respect him. Ladies and gentlemen, your MC for tonight, Bill Martino.